For anybody who follows my channel, you'll know that I am a huge fan of the folks at Toontrack and the wonderful products that they make. I use Superior Drummer 3 all the time in my productions, in my writing, in my tone demos. I use Easy Bass, absolutely love that. Easy Keys. I have a lot of their expansion packs for Easy Bass, their EBX and their SDX for Superior Drummer 3. One product that I did use a long time ago when it was Easy Drummer 2 was their Easy Drummer line of products. Now, when it was upgraded to Easy Drummer 3, I really didn't bother upgrading to it because I had Superior Drummer 3, and I figured, why would I need Easy Drummer 3? Well, the fine folks at Toontrack were so kind to send me a complimentary copy of Easy Drummer 3 over for me to check out because I was going to check out one of their new Easy X's, the Post Metal Easy X, which was released this month in November for Toontrack's Metal Month. Well, it really got me thinking that maybe I've been missing out. Just because I had Superior Drummer 3, did it mean that I actually did not need Easy Drummer 3 as well? Well, today I'm going to show you some of the reasons why you may just need Easy Drummer 3, even if you have Superior Drummer 3. They're completely different products, both with their amazing strengths that can really work well together. So without further ado, let's dive over to Cubase 12 Pro and take a look and see what we can actually do in Easy Drummer 3 that can be a great complement to an existing Superior Drummer 3 that we may already own. All right, so here we are over in Cubase Pro. I have a little project open called 90s Metal Easy Drummer 3. You might be wondering what this project's about. Recently, I was redoing some Line 6 Helix presets that I have available on the Line 6 marketplace with some of the new updated features that the folks at Line 6 have added in their new firmware update. And I was revisiting some of these old tracks and reamping some of the tracks through the new tones. And it got me thinking this would be a really cool project here. It's a little short demo I have to kind of showcase what I was talking about with the Easy Drummer 3 versus Superior Drummer 3. Now, originally, you'll see here I have original drums. Now, this is the original Superior Drummer track that I used. I'm using the Rock Foundry SDX. I made some tweaks to the mixer here and whatnot, and I created a drum part based off of grooves that I had in my quite expansive groove library here. And I dove into these and tailored them to exactly what I needed for this little piece of music. And that's what this sounded like. I'll just play you that. I'm also, as a side note, using Easy Bass and the new Progressive Metal EBX, and I'm using the Focus Drive Pick preset. So that's also what you're hearing. So that's not what I used in the original version, but having just got that Progressive Metal EBX, I thought I would use it, and it sounds amazing. So here it is with the original drum, Superior Drummer 3, and the track that I had originally created. Now, I was very happy with the way that that worked. As always, a Superior Drummer 3 drums sound absolutely amazing. If I could make a suggestion to anybody who is interested, the Rock Foundry SDX is absolutely spectacular, really killer tones. I love it and use that quite often. But here's what I wanted to do. Let's kind of play make-believe a little bit here and go back and mute those drums and say, what if I had written this tune, I had these riffs, and these tunes started off me writing a guitar riff that I wanted kind of in the style of Megadeth. think you get the idea from that. So what if I didn't have a drum part ready? Well, in the original version, basically, I would go and browse my groove library. I might do a tap to find on my drum pad to get a groove that would be close to working with that. But sometimes that can be kind of time consuming. And then, tailoring those drum parts to work exactly with what we have can be a bit time consuming. The outcome is always great, but the one feature that EasyDrummer 3 has that's extremely interesting is this bandmate feature, which we're going to talk about. Now, if we actually look at Superior Drummer 3 and EasyDrummer 3 side by side, we can look at this and see that both have their drums tabs, which, show us which drum kit we're using. And up here, we can choose which EasyS or SDX we want to use in the preset. We have a groove section on both as well that have similar feels and looks to it. Tap to find. We have our timeline down here. Our grooves over here, we can drag them around. We have our mixer section on both. Obviously, much more in-depth mixer section on our Superior Drummer. But one thing you'll notice is we have the tracker here where we can drag and drop audio files in here to trigger the drum samples within Superior Drummer 3. That's a feature that's very nice to have. Not something it seems we have inside of EasyDrummer 3, but we do have this tab, which is called Bandmate. Now, very interesting. So this is what we want to focus our attention on. I want to be able to come up with a drum track for my existing project here with as little effort as possible. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select a file that we need for this. Now you'll notice it says recent files. I've already kind of messed around with this to make sure I knew what was going on with it. And I'm going to select this file. You'll notice that this is guitar_DI, my DI'd guitar _1. And that is actually this same track over here that I used in my project. So I'm going to select that in just a moment. Now, I have used DI'd guitars here. So if we were to listen to this guitar part soloed, but I take off the instance of Helix Native here that is showcasing one of my presets. If I just bypass that, you'll hear that the actual guitar track sounds like this. So what I would be opening up within EasyDrummer here is going to be what is actually pointed to here. There's a little asterisk beside drag audio here. It says clean, non-distorted audio gives better results. There's going to be more transient spikes or transient peaks for EasyDrummer to be able to read where it might want to have kick and snare hits. So let's select this file and see what happens. So it analyzes the audio. It asks me about the tempo information. You'll notice that my project is here at 200 beats per minute. So yes, time signature is 4/4. So I'm going to select OK on that. And you'll see what happens is it gives me my source audio that I used, and then some drums to go along with it. Now, I can snap this to my grid, but I'm not going to do that right now, because actually, if I just press play, let's just see what happens here. Again, remember, I have the post-metal EasyX on the Broken Oars preset. So if I just press play on this, you might wonder what is going on. That's not going to work at all. So what I actually want to do is, if you notice, I kind of start this audio a little bit later on bar 2. So I'm going to turn snap off, and I'm just going to try to hone in, and I can hit my control and wheel zoom in here and get this little transient right at the beginning. I'm going to drag that back to start with the actual drum groove. Now this is interesting too, because the first 2 bars are actually just shots that I had with mostly kick and cymbals. I'm actually going to come in and drag this over to measure 3 here, and again, just try to catch that little transient to line up, and we'll bring that back to see how this groove locks in here. It works beautifully. So this is a really nice little groove that could work very, very well for what I have going on. And it was that simple and quick to come up with. Now, over here it says matching grooves. So I can actually go through and find different categories in the genre and also open hi-hats versus closed hi-hats and whatnot. So as I select these, you'll notice it's going to change the groove. So I could actually have this play and maybe even get a little loop going here and change the groove that has been selected. And the neat thing is it gives me the information of where these are coming from as well. So you can see just how incredible this is. Now, this isn't the only thing we can do. As we're listening to this, we can add more or less kick hits, more or less snare hits. Let's take a listen to that. Just kind of remembering where we were. Here we were on like 4 on this snare, 2 on the kick. Let's take a listen through that. We get more grace notes, more snare hits all around. So really incredible ability to very seamlessly and effortlessly tweak even what's been given to us. But I'm going to actually say I'm going to be pretty happy with just this. Now, if I am happy with this, I can take this and it says rock solid, punkish, 185 beats per minute, chorus 02. So now I kind of know where this is coming from as well. I'm going to drag this down in my timeline, but you'll remember my project starts at measure 2, but there's 2 bars that I don't want this groove applied to. So I'm going to bring this down to measure 4 here. So that should line up with my project now. So if I just basically get back over to my grooves here, you'll notice that it's populated all these bars with what I imagine is this exact same groove. So if I go here and say find select containing folder in grooves and I click that, it's going to show me where it's from. So this is the punkish 185 BPM chorus, and it's this second groove, and this is from the rock solid add-on pack. Now if I check to see if these are all the same, you'll notice that it is giving me the exact same thing. So that's probably not what I want. And I'm going to do some tailoring and customizing to this. But let's just take a listen to the beginning here. Let's just get out of this for a second. I have Easy Drummer on, I have Easy Bass engaged, and I have my guitars ready to go here. Let's see what this sounds like. It's working beautifully, but obviously there's a few things I've got to do here. Now, first things first, if you remember in the original, I had no drums from bar 4 all the way up to bar 12. So I'm just going to basically cut that because I do like this guitar riff to just be on its own. You know, I could also come here and listen to this particular variation on this groove as well. so that when we go between these two different sections, we have a slight variation to things. But I do think I'm going to stick to what the original plan was here, and we'll stick with this particular groove that was chosen for us. But I think for this one, I'm going to delete this because that is not even going to be part of our song. I believe our song's over by that point. But I'm going to say that maybe going into this last tail end, I want something similar, but maybe utilizing the ride. Let's take this and we'll drag this down. And now let's maybe take a listen to this and see how this is all sounding. It works really nicely, and I could just pretty much be done at that point with it. But I want to come in here, and I just want to finish this off with one final kick hit and maybe a cymbal hit here as well, just so that this finishes off nice and neat with that final crash. Perfect. I'm very happy with that. Now, coming back to, let's say, measure 18 and 19 here, leading into this ride cymbal move. Very happy with that, but we could also come down to our grooves and go to the fills and say, you know, I'm playing on the ride. Let's sort of see if there's any fills that I could put in here to maybe even add a little more excitement. Yeah, let's do that. So I'm going to drag this down. You see it's 2 bars long, so it's going to basically help us to take the end piece of this groove and lead into where we're playing in with our ride. So let's go back and listen to how this kind of blends those two parts together. That's working really nicely for me. And coming over to bar 20 here, you see we have a nice crash that leads back out of this hit. The crash cymbal builds from the hi-hats up into the ride in this little part here. A little bit heavier fill here that did a really nice job. So I'm super happy with that thus far, and it's working really nice. But if we go back to the beginning of our song, I'm missing the little kick part that I want in the beginning. And you know, with stuff like this, a lot of times if I know where those kick hits are going to be, I'm probably not going to go search for some existing groove rather than just maybe even paint these in by myself. I think I have that. Right. Now, you'll notice that they're kind of all over the place dynamically, and I kind of feel like I would want those to be just all-out hits. And I think what I'm also going to do here is grab the cymbals and get some crashes going there. So, you know, I've created the little groove I need. Let's hear how that sounds. And pretty effortlessly, I've created a drum track that works really nicely. Now, I was explaining this to you as I went along. Imagine if I didn't have to explain that and I was just working at getting this drum track done. I would have been done in almost no time at all, in minutes, and having this great time-saving ability to create a drum track for an existing guitar riff or other rhythmic part. Really amazing, amazing stuff. From there, if I want to go to my mixer and tweak things, I did take this Broken Oars preset and just bring the ambience and reverb down a little bit. It was at a little bit too much for this tempo, but other than that, the post-metal EBX and the presets sound really killer in this mix. Would I tweak it more if I was doing a final mix on this? 100% I would, but having said that, this is almost usable exactly the way it is. You'll notice too, there was this little humanize function that we can turn on and off. That's probably why when I was entering my kick drums, why some were louder and softer. It's giving that humanized feel. And you'll notice any of the selected notes I have down here, look at the velocities. If I put humanize on, it actually makes those less robotic and static. Now, this was a groove that was already played, I believe, by a human. So I'm just going to leave this, and I want that really kind of heavy groove thing going on. But if we listen to this, you know, the humanize feature is going to be subtle, but a beautiful, beautiful thing to have. And there's a bunch of different things we can mess around with within that. So now let's do this. Now that we've got something we're happy with, how does that compare to what I originally had in my Superior Drummer version of this? Let me do this. Let's go over here and just lock this in so we get a little loop going. And I'm going to go back and forth here between, and in fact, let's do this. Let's just mute our guitars and our bass, and we're going to go back and forth between our Easy Drummer version and our original version. We'll start with the original. This is what the original version I had with Superior Drummer. Here's Easy Drummer. Very interesting that some of it is quite similar. Obviously, there's some shots and fills and whatnot are different. And I remember making this and really tailoring a lot of the drums where I had fills that were hitting accents and whatnot. But wow, I can really say that both versions work really nicely. Here's the original with everything in the mix. And here is the Superior Drummer version. I can tell you right now, to put together the Easy Drummer 3 version today, especially if I wasn't actually demonstrating what I was doing as I was going along, took me a lot less time than doing the original Superior Drummer version. And I think if I had never done the original, I would probably be just as happy with this. But now you might be saying, well, then we don't need Superior Drummer. Why would I ever need that? I'm just getting Easy Drummer 3 and I'm being done with it. And quite honestly, if you're somebody who is just working in their home studio, that's composing and wanting to come up with tracks very quickly and effortlessly, that doesn't need the high level of tweakability, then maybe Easy Drummer 3 is going to do the job for you. I personally really enjoy the level of tweakability, the number of SDXs, super detailed and very tweakable. I love having this. It's the engineer, the guy that loves to tweak and play around with tones, that really makes me enjoy working in Superior Drummer. But here's where the best of both worlds things come in. I have a track here called New SD, or New Superior Drummer, and you'll notice I have the same drums and preset on it with an empty timeline. Well, here's something that we can do. And let me just move that up to the corner. I'm going to open Superior Drummer 3 and just shrink this down a little bit here so that we have both of these on screen. I can come over to Easy Drummer, simply select all of my grooves that I had going there, and I can drag these over to bar 2, and now I have them in both Easy Drummer and Superior Drummer. I will mute Easy Drummer, and we should now have the exact same drum track we just made, but now triggering the Rock Foundry settings that I had before in Superior Drummer with the mix I had before, and all of the ability to come in with this mixer and really tweak this in a way that might be more suitable for some folks if they wanted to access their Superior Drummer library with all this tweakability. So I can do my composing work in Easy Drummer with some great sounds, and maybe once I do that, I'm just happy with the sounds, but I can easily just drag them over to Superior Drummer and use them in a very similar manner. So how is this going to sound? Let's go to our new Superior Drummer and see what it sounds like with the dragged over MIDI triggering the Rock Foundry sounds in Superior Drummer. And there you have it. I have that same drum track, just now utilizing Superior Drummer 3. And obviously we could come in here and edit these. Maybe I didn't like the fact that this was a bow tip hit on the ride, and I much rather would have had that on the bell shank, let's say. I can simply select those and move those down. Up a little more in the mix. And I'm off and running, able to tweak this to my heart's content. All right, what did you guys think of that? I thought that that would be a really interesting video for anybody who is a Toontrack user, or anybody who isn't a Toontrack user, who's trying to decide whether they need Easy Drummer 3, whether they need Superior Drummer 3, or what I prefer, needing them both. I'm so happy to have both of these, and I'm going to get such an immense amount of use out of Easy Drummer 3. Using that Bandmate tab is going to help me to speed up the process of composing. Even if I do have to make some edits after, at least it gets you that starting point without having to maybe browse through endless folders of grooves instead of having to do like a tap to find thing. I find this works so much faster and gets you off and running without any delays. So I hope you guys enjoyed that, and I hope that was useful and helpful for anybody who is trying to make the decision as to which product would be best for them. And again, I said, doesn't hurt to have both of these. Thank you again so much to Toontrack for sending me over this complimentary copy of Easy Drummer 3. I will make use of it. I love this company. Just seeing that everything that they do is just so well thought out and gives such a great end user experience and also great audio quality and audio results, which is really what matters in the end. Thank you guys again so much for tuning in. Please like the video, share it with anybody who you think would get some use or enjoyment out of watching, and also please subscribe to the channel and hit the little bell notification to get notified when I put new content out. I will be back really soon with some more. Thank you guys again so much for tuning in. Ciao for now.